Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Buffalo Bills Franchise Mode series. And in this episode, we continue onward with the 2024 season, one that has been quite disappointing thus far, as we find ourselves with a 3-3 record, the 3 losses matching the total loss total from last year's season, of course, where we went 13-3. The big thing coming out of the last episode, heading into this episode, of course, would have been what the hell to do with Aaron Rodgers, and also potentially changing up the defensive scheme, which we have. We're running now the multiple 3-4 as opposed to the 4-6 defense, which of course would explain why we're getting crushed in the passing department. Of course, for those who thought like, scheme doesn't affect anything in game, apparently not. But aside from that, the other thing to point out was from Sean Lepresti, of course. I am aware of the draft stories option. I just often don't really look on screen that much, but from now on I'll start making a bigger deal of who I should be looking out for. And in that way too, if we're heading into a draft, you can really remind me before then, like, hey, make sure you look at this guy. Because if we look at the players that are available here, I know there was Teal, the running back. Of course, this week 15 guy wouldn't be an option. I don't believe like Arucci in week 6 there, and the white might be a guy to look at. But let me know if, like, I think Teal, Spencer, and Keith Clemens are there at least. It, like, half glitches out to still show players from last season, which kind of sucks, but that is what it is. But yeah, like, Teal is there, and we were looking at him earlier. And like I said, I'm pretty sure, there you go, Spencer's there at defensive tackle. I think Mobley was also listed too. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Aside from that, and I do have to get into the scouting in a moment. Aside from that, of course, the Aaron Rodgers situation, which, here's the deal. I mean, and negotiating with everybody else situation, because there's a lot we have to do. You know, I think, honestly, there's no better way than to just get into it again. With Aaron Rodgers, probably going to keep him. Probably not going to sign him just to trade him. Seems kind of cheap. The popular opinion seemed to be to go with Rodgers. It hasn't worked. About time, it seems like we're not going to make the playoffs. Maybe we'll turn to Hanson Erickson. I don't know. We don't know how this episode's going to go. We've gotten off the slow starts before and turned things around. That's not to say that we couldn't again, as I'm going to offer Micah Hyde that base deal. Beautiful. So Micah Hyde will be staying. Kouangio wants almost $10 million a season. Is he willing to accept that? He is not. I don't blame him for wanting to get paid. Warren Leckie, we definitely need to keep. And we have. And then for Hanson Erickson, we'll see what happens in the future. But with Aaron Rodgers, there's no guarantees that he won't retire. I mean, I'm sure even if he's looking for a contract extension, I'd be shocked if he doesn't retire, given his age. Do we still have a running back-centric scout? We don't. We must still be on wide receiver. Am I correct? I am. So let's see. Gilbert Dukes. Is Porter decent? He is, so we'll continue to look. I think beyond the 5th round, I'm probably not going to look at anybody else. Depends, although the quality is holding up. You know what? Screw it, 6th round. I normally don't scout 7th round, and that's why. So, there we go. A couple of decent wide receivers, though, especially Lewis Vincent here is a slot option. God damn. We'll take a look at the tight end options coming up as well. So, obviously, we don't have to worry about the deadline just yet. But like I said, I don't think I'll be looking to move Aaron Rodgers. Again, we went with that decision. I feel like it'd be kind of cheap to be like, oh, yeah, let's get Aaron Rodgers, and then it doesn't work out. It's like, well, screw it, just trade him for something great. Not really a fan of doing that in this particular instance with Rodgers, just because I feel like his value is going to be quite high, despite his age. I mean, that extra draft pick, who knows what that turns into. As I don't know if we'll have anybody half decent in terms of tight ends. I've only seen one decent tight end be drafted. That said, Grant Stemke is back from injury, and we are pretty much good to go. This is a big game to kick off this episode. We have a 14 overall point edge on the Patriots. They have one more win than we do on the season. This is the type of statement win that we need to kick things off to show that we're not done yet, that we have time to get back into this and can hopefully turn this season around, as opposed to being the just kind of meh team that we've been thus far. We know that we're better than that, at least on paper. I'm sure we're still the highest overall team in the league, but that only means so much, unfortunately, as we go up against Jameis Winston, who has apparently not thrown an interception all season. Hopefully we can change that here today. Aaron Rodgers in Buffalo, Winston leading the Patriots. What is franchise mode this year? Let's see what we can do. We get the opening 7 points, and that is the way the first will end. Ended up being a 1-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. To halftime we go, make it 14-0, now 14-7, and 17-7 is the score at the half. So a little bit more of a interesting second quarter there, as Aaron Rodgers with a 24-yard touchdown pass to our running back Martinez Wade, and from there, Rodgers was picked off by Desmond King for a touchdown. Neat. Pick 6 from Rodgers, so their only touchdown has come from their defense, which I guess is a good sign that our defense is doing much better. It's 24-7, now 31-7. Heading into the fourth quarter, much, much better. 5-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. And from there, it was a 1-yard rushing touchdown for Martinez Wade after a bit of a pass attack. So barring a miraculous comeback here, as it's now 38-7, we are going to start off this episode with a major victory, beating the Patriots, making a statement as we needed to do. I'll take it. We get in the win column. Jameis Winston was completely shut down. That is absurd. 10 of 31. Rodgers, on the other hand, 27 of 39, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the pick. Hunt over 122 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. Martinez Wade with a touchdown as well. Kawangio at nearly 100 yards receiving, 8 receptions, touchdowns for Wade and Byram. 3 sacks allowed. Not ideal, but we are still dealing with injuries on the offensive line. And defensively, probably the fewest tackles I've ever seen for like our leader in the game. 4 apiece for Stevenson and Keaho. 2 sacks for Keaho, 1 for Stevenson. No interceptions though. Elliott 1 for 1 in terms of field goals. And that, again, is exactly what we needed. A dominant display from our defense. And now we get to head into this bye week with a little bit more optimism as we are tied for the lead. It is a 2-horse race in this division between us and New England. Fairly straightforward. It's just whether or not we can get back up to our true potential, as Bush and Keaho should have points here. I'm going to make Lewis Bush better in terms of agility. Try to balance him out a little bit more. Not too shabby for the 25-year-old. And Keaho to make you better as a run stopper. That won't get him up to an 83. But that's okay. He'll get points in block shedding, play recognition, and pursuit, which I'm still good with. In terms of the re-sign options, I think we're pretty much good. We need to bump up Kawangio's pay just a little bit. It's going to be over a $50 million offer, which is insane. Is 51.6 enough over 4 years? Yes, it is. Kawangio, welcome back. And we'll figure out everyone else's when the time comes. In terms of scouting, let's continue to take a look at the tight end options. See if there's anybody else who's looking half decent here. Although it does go down to 3rd round projected. And in fairness, there's a couple of good options. Takoy Rado, Zach Narath also looking pretty good. And oh my God, Wade Walls. All right, we'll stop looking from there. And we'll scout out the offensive line. For tight ends, it drops off quickly. Like outside of the first 3 rounds, if you find anybody who's not that bad, at least in my experience, you get a little bit lucky. So Chris Bracken, thank you for your 5 minutes of work. Is there an O-line scout? There is not. So we'll hire a D-line scout and have to waste, or not waste, but not be able to get that discount in terms of scouting out members of the offensive line, which kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? It's got to be done. So Haynes Sherman, not a big fan of that C+, but it is what it is, I do suppose. Let's take a look here. So we are good. Michael Dieter is finally back from injury before we play next week. So the thing to debate is whether or not we keep Aaron Rodgers, which I think we have to. Like I said, I think we've committed to him for this season. I see no reason as to why we'd give up. It kind of sucks for Hansen, but it is what it is. Rodgers is our quarterback this season. We're not giving up. We're staying all in. And whether or not he is the guy that can lead us to victory, time will tell. I mean, if we look this year already, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, over 2,000 yards. It's not bad. 68% completion percentage, averaging nearly 300 yards a game. So he's done very well. It's just you could argue early on our defense was so extremely disappointing. Not that the offense fired on all cylinders either, but I think we're good to move forward. Week 9 against the Colts. There's no turning back now. So there you go. But Week 9 against the Colts, we play the Seahawks next week. Henry Hicks with an upgrade point will make you better as a red zone threat. That gets him up to an 81 overall. +3 catching is huge for him. Again, he's basically a frickin' Olympic sprinter that we're trying to turn into a wide receiver. So that works out. And we will see. Who's the other scouting option here? It must be Erickson now, right? Here's the thing with Hansen and then Nate Potter as well. How much is he looking for? That's not bad. I think we're going to wait from this point because with Erickson, he's the type of guy that I don't want to let go for nothing, but he's looking for such a big money offer that, to be honest, I'd be a little bit worried that we wouldn't, that it wouldn't make sense to sign him and then trade him. Like, he's looking for a lot of money, which when you factor in how he had done, previously, I mean, especially last year, it's like, oh yeah, shit, he's earned it. But with the way things have gone, and of course the option for us to sign Rodgers, that really kind of changed the plans here. But I'll take a look here. 11 overall point advantage. I really do wonder what this franchise would be looking like had we not lost to the Colts. Say we go to the AFC Championship game and lose. I still wonder if we would have signed Rodgers. Maybe instead we just view that loss to the Colts, these very Colts, as a fluke. That way we don't view this loss to the Colts in such a negative way. We at least beat the Colts. Sure, we went on to lose. Happens, is what it is. But to lose the way we did in overtime, I don't know. That could be, as much as I thought like some of the losses to the Texans early on were going to be the losses that we really look back on, I think it is that loss to the Colts last year. Hopefully we can get our redemption here. It's 3-all through the first, and we need a much better performance from Rodgers here. There we go, 10-3. The Colts can't tie it, and the score stands at halftime. It ended up being a 1-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. Through the third quarter we go, making quick progress. We start off with a touchdown, 17-3, make it 20-3, and our defense is playing to their full potential now. Kawangio with a 7-yard touchdown reception as we sim through the final 15 minutes, 23-3, and this game is over. Back-to-back dominant performances to begin this episode. Switching to the multiple 4-3 has paid off in spades as our defense is standing tall. 30-10 is the final score. Wilcox only 227 yards in the air. 3 picks, though. That was the difference maker, let's be honest. Rodgers, 18 of 27 with only 165 yards, but 2 touchdowns. Kareem with over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown as well. Passing touchdowns and receiving touchdowns from Martinez, Wade, and Kawangio. Only 2 sacks allowed. Defensively, Keaho led the way. 4 sacks for Denard Keaho. 2.5 for Joe Jackson. 1 for Clayton Malone and a half for Micah Hyde. Interceptions for Lattimore, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and Tre'Davious White. Jake Elliott was 3 for 3 in terms of field goals. Talk about a dominating defense. I don't know if you want to say Wilcox just had a bad game. He certainly did because of that offensive line. But just in general, we get the win, which is great. I mean, we embarrassed Wilcox after he embarrassed us last January. So very nice to get that redemption. White, Stevenson, and Huval get upgrade points. We'll make Tre'Davious better in terms of zone. He is now a legitimate 95 overall, which is great, +3 to tackling. So for a 29-year-old to continue to improve is great. Stevenson as well. Let's make him better in pass coverage. He goes up to a 92. So that Devontae Adams trade, I mean, while controversial, we do get Stevenson out of it, who's an absolute monster. And Bennett Huval will make better as a hybrid. He's up to a legitimate 83. So he's doing well in terms of improving to the point where he's a legitimate Jordan Poyer replacement. As we will move on to Week 10, playing the Seattle Seahawks. Weekly awards, it was Keaho up there. 4 sacks in a game. Of course, led him to be the Defensive Player of the Week. Contract negotiation-wise, like I said, I think we'll just wait now until the end of the year. Figure that out when we get there. And in terms of scouting, we'll continue to try and crack down on these offensive line options. At center, it's a little bit weird, but nobody projected beyond the 6th round, allegedly. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll just burn through and get those reports done. We're up to 5-3. A great start to this episode. Let's see what happens against Seattle. Another home game. We have an 11 overall point advantage. It's Monday prime time against the Seahawks. And it's a big opportunity here to, I would think, get some separation on the Patriots. We'll take a look afterwards. Is Russell Wilson still there? 18 touchdowns, only 2 picks on the season. 2024. Russell and, yeah. What? You ever just zone out for a second? You ever just zone out for a minute? You just completely lose your train of thought. That was brutal. That was the worst. I don't even know what just happened. Am I even alive right now? What the hell has even happened? Jesus. Like, I was going to say Russell and Rodgers, and my mind just exploded. I don't know what just happened. Let's get to this. Save me from myself, Madden. Let's do this. Here we go. Can we defend? That's not a great start. 7-0 Seahawks. I was going to say, can we defend home turf? It is 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Make it 14-3. Now 14-10. And a late turnover results in us having the lead at halftime. A great point swing there. 17-14 at the half. As the comeback starts here with a 10-yard touchdown pass to Kouangio. An interception from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson leads to an 18-yard touchdown pass to Kouangio. So it was Chauncey. That was the hero. 17-14 as we begin the sim on the third. And make it 24-14. So there you go. A massive change in momentum. As we will take a look here. Who was it on that occasion? I think there was another turnover. Long drive, 6-yard touchdown pass to Byram. And we have the ball here to kick things off. Let's do this. 27-14. So we'll hit sim the next quarter to pretty much end the game, and it's close. 27-21. So we'll follow along here. What can we do? We are forced to punt. 6-point game with 7:23 remaining. Let's see what the Seahawks can do. They are forced to punt quite quickly. 6:25 left. We'll go change of possession again. Now 3:54 remaining. Both teams' offenses stalling out. Let's see here as they start back. Coffin cornered 100% here. Big 3rd and 4, and they do get the first down. Good news is the clock is ticking. Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson hooking up on a couple of passes in a row. Consecutively, 3rd and 2. It's another 3rd down conversion. But again, the clock is running. Ball on the 30, 10 yards for Lockett. Tick, tock, damn it. As they're forced to use a timeout, 6 yards for Jerome Gibson. I can't jump in with them running the hurry up. This has got to be it. 4th and 4. First down, 38 seconds left. 19 yards for Chark. God, no, not like this. Oh my God. And the Seahawks drive down the field from, I believe, the 1, maybe the 2, and they win the game. I couldn't jump in, otherwise it would have potentially had me control the play. That is brutal. I think that erases. I can't believe that just happened. That erases the first 2 wins. Seconds left on the clock. Ball on the goal line, and they punch it in on 1 play. Why didn't you throw it? Russell Wilson, 4 touchdowns. Maybe our defense hasn't solved their issues. Rodgers with a fine game. Kareem, fine game. Receiving-wise, I can't believe our defense just botched that, man. Cannot believe it. We got to Wilson 6 times with an interception, and we still lost. Unbelievable. They start off strong, we fight back, and then in the end, we blow it. Byram and Lecky improve, but who the hell even cares right now? Like, come on, man. That's such a bad loss. All of that momentum, we need 1 stop from our defense, multiple 3rd down conversions, and all of that momentum that we built up here at the beginning of this episode, and just threw it away. Just threw it away. So frustrating. Russell Wilson marches them down the field. And I am very, very upset. Week 11 against the Chiefs. We're at 5-4. The Patriots moved to 6-3. We're not even winning the division right now. It's unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable. This team, for whatever reason, is it a curse? Like, what the hell is it at this point? That is my question. But this team continues to underperform in such a frustrating way. 7-2. As we head down to Kansas City, we need this win. We have an 11 overall point advantage, which is becoming redundant to even point out because it's often not mattering at all as far as how this goes. And after blowing that lead, the offense stalls out on numerous attempts in the 4th quarter. They march down the field and get that late touchdown. And now, here we are. In a very frustrating situation. Lamar Jackson's their quarterback, 22-5 in terms of touchdowns and picks. No pressure, team. No pressure. The Patriots are ahead of you. Apparently, the Patriots are better than you, which in a general statement, boy, they are. But for the sake of this series, that does not make me happy. As the Chiefs get a touchdown in their opening drive, we respond with a field goal, 7-3. At the end of the first, we do start off with another field goal. It's 7-6, make it 14-6 and 17-6 at halftime. The offense has struggled for the last 3 quarters, and that's becoming very evident. Through the third we go. We need something here, some sort of spark, and it's not looking too good. Angelo O'Reilly recovers a fumble on the 11-yard line. Is that the catalyst for something? It is. Angelo O'Reilly, a big play. We cap off a drive with a 6-yard touchdown pass to Trey Cates. We're back in this game with 10.5 remaining. Can our defense get a stop? They can. On the 24-yard line, it's Micah Hyde with the pick. So again, 2 drives cut short due to turnovers, the fumble recovery, and now the interception. 6.5 to go. Can we march downfield? And yes, we can, to at the very least tie this game. I was hoping to take the lead, but it's 17-all as the defense is stepping up, but unfortunately the offense just hasn't been able to get to that level. Jason Peck was ours at one point, by the way, so that's unfortunate to see. Can our defense get a stop? We need another stop here. And unfortunately, that'll be a first down, I believe, unless it's replaying it. 3rd and 1, 15 yards for Peck. And they are in... Yeah, we're fucked. We're fucked. Our defense is going to break again. They did so well to get us back into it, and the offense just couldn't take advantage. We're done. We're going to lose right at the death again. Are you kidding me? Field goal's good for Will O'Donnell. We're going to lose a game at the death again unless Aaron Rodgers can pull off a goddamn miracle, and he doesn't. He runs the ball. Multiple chances for the offense to get going. They can't. And the defense could only hold on for so long. We lose back-to-back games. The momentum that we built up to start has completely evaporated. 255 yards and a touchdown for Rodgers. Kareem pretty much held in check. We barely ran the ball. Receiving-wise, Cates with a touchdown. 2 sacks allowed. Just brutal. All around. Just brutal. And I don't know what to make of this season right now. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Trey Cates improves, which is great, but I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. At this point, I just don't know. Like, is this team truly cursed? What is the big issue here that is preventing us from winning these games? We have no identifiable weakness as we pick up an injury, and Kawan Byram is out for the rest of the season with a torn pec. We trade for him, and within a decent amount of time, as we get ripped apart by our old tight end, our new one gets hurt and is on the IR for the rest of the year. I don't know what to do. I really don't. What is the key to success for us? We'll just go ahead and sign whoever the hell. I don't even know. I'm so disappointed and so frustrated with this team. To be honest here, is there just a younger option who's not that bad? One who's preferably not on the practice squad, thank you. Morgan Ringer. You're not even a rookie, but it's fine. We have no cap room to sign anybody better, really. So he's here. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the shit show known as the Buffalo Bills. From the league's best last year to mediocrity at 5-5. Just disgusting. We are 2 games back of the Patriots, who we had, what, a 14 overall point advantage on? Well, as it turns out, Aaron Rodgers wasn't the solution. Hanson Erickson at that price isn't the solution, because he's not going to be good enough to ever be worth that. I don't know. I just don't know. We played the 2-8 Dolphins, so we at least have the chance to end this episode on a high note. But to be barely above 500, or to potentially lose this game and be below 500, would be absolutely brutal and could potentially happen. So, as far as our 89 rated team is concerned, let's take a look at the depth chart. Although it would have auto-reordered itself, still, let's see what we're dealing with here. It's so frustrating. Cates is going to still be below Savage, as I want him to develop. Although at this rate, I don't think he's going to. There's no reason for this. There's really no reason for this team to be doing this poorly. And now I'm just sitting here wondering what the hell comes next. What comes next? Are we even going to make the playoffs this year? There is a chance that we're not even going to make it. Like, that is a realistic possibility that we could go from the best in the league to missing the playoffs. This is a must-win game against the Jets, who we have a 15 overall point advantage on. This is a must-win game to keep pace with the Patriots and to set us up in the next episode for the final 5 games, although, boy, am I tempted to just sim them now. But to keep pace with the Patriots, who appear to be the best in this division, despite what a certain overall rating on a certain team would tell you. We need a big effort from everybody. Rodgers, Hunt, every single member of that defense. This is it. I mean, if we lose here, we're going to have a hell of a time getting into the playoffs. This needs to be a win. Let's go through the first quarter. So we start off with a touchdown. And that will be the lone strike of the first. It was a 4-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem. Second quarter. Make it 14-0. Dolphins with a late strike, 14-7 at the half. As we fumbled, they weren't able to do anything with it. And on the next drive, we marched downfield, 3-yard touchdown pass to London Charles. Through the third quarter we go. Only up by 7, now 16, now 22-7. I don't even really care to know what the hell happened, but we'll still look. As it ended up being a safety. We follow that up with a 2-yard rushing touchdown by Kareem. 15 minutes away from getting a win, now 25-14. And we'll hold on for the win at 32-14. Didn't really care enough to slow it down and have it be overly dramatic. Just wanted to make sure that we got the job done. And thankfully, we did. The Dolphins fall to what I believe 2-8, 2-9 was it, on the season. Rodgers, 24 of 39, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Is he doing that much better than Hanson Ericsson's the real question? As I hit the wrong button, and you know what? We're going to compare the two in the moments to come. But big game for Kareem with the 2 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Charles, Pittman with touchdowns. Not a single sack allowed. Defensively, Stevenson and Lattimore led the way. Only got to the quarterback twice. Not a single interception. Elliott, 1 for 1 when called upon. As Cleveland was able to beat Kansas City, so that's great. That makes me feel much better about the loss. Makes me feel much better about it. As we'll move on to Week 13, we're at 6-5. We played Jacksonville, New England, San Francisco, the Jets, and Rams to end the season. The Patriots are 2 games ahead. In terms of the AFC standings, I do have to wonder. I believe we technically have a playoff spot. So let's see, 7-4, 6-5, 7-4. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. We need to win. We need to win. This is absurd. Keaston Savage improves, which is nice, but just goddamn, man. This is the worst case scenario I possibly could have thought of. Now, what I do want to do here is take a look at the stats from Hanson Ericsson last year and see if Rodgers, like, what kind of pace is Rodgers on for a 92 overall quarterback, even at his age. And if we take a look at the stats from this season, on pace, you know, he's at 3,000 yards now, 23-6 in terms of touchdowns and interceptions. So keep that in mind, 23-6, on pace for over 4,000 yards. Whereas Hanson Ericsson, last season, 29-8, on pace for 4,000 yards. Rodgers might be better, but he's not that much better. And that's an interesting thing to note. Whereas, I mean, the smart thing seems to be to go with Rodgers, but maybe we go back to Hanson Ericsson, who at least led us to a 13-3 record, whereas now we're 6-5, and there is pressure on us to win just to make the playoffs, as opposed to just cruising to it, no problem, and then inevitably blowing it. So we have to kind of decide what the lesser of two evils happen to be. I'm going to leave that up to you guys as far as any suggestions, any whatever. Now, I do know that we switched to a 3-4, and like the other middle linebacker wasn't an ideal option. I'm aware of that. But that said, still, for the team that we have, we should be winning. This is the current setup in terms of playbooks, scheme fits. So, you know, we will we'll leave it up to you guys. The final stretch of games in the season will take place in the next episode. Will we be a playoff team is the first question. That game against New England is going to be huge, that's for sure. Will we be a playoff team? What should the roster look like? What will the roster look like now and in the immediate future? There's a lot to be decided, but God forbid we don't make the playoffs. This will go down as one of the biggest failures of a season I think I've ever seen. Like, this would be the Albert Haynesworth contract of seasons. It'd be that bad. But hopefully we can snap out of it one way or another. Thank you very much for watching and supporting this series. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, make sure to check out everything in the description and support the video and the channel. You know what that means. The like and the bells, the subscriptions and all that shit helps me with the algorithms. And yeah, YouTube will actually tell you when I upload because they might not. So that's always fun. I'll see you in the next one where the Bills will either turn it around or bill harder, nearly harder than they've ever billed.